usually don't make 2 videos in the same day, but I've had this little brown horse here, and I'm just going to hold this by my hand, because what this little brown horse does is he walks up to you and goes to rubbing on you and pushing on you, and sometimes he'll wheel and kick if you don't pet on him. I like it when they come up to me, but I don't like it when they institute contact. So I'm going to show you how I deal with that. And I've spent about, I don't know, 5 minutes telling him he can't touch me with my hands. Now, when I put a halter and lead rope on him, he acts completely different. But when he's loose, he ought not to come up here and rub on you. He needs to know that that's a bad deal. Hell, if you turned him out in the pasture and he decided to go rub up on another old horse that he didn't know too good, he's going to get his clock cleaned. That's just the nature of the deal. Well, if you drug a little kid in here to pet this horse and you didn't pay attention to him, he might knock that little kid down. It's a good problem to have, and we've sort of made our point already. But you don't need to let these horses come up and rub on you. That's only cute until it's not. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk to different places here. And if he wants to come up to me, that's fine. He's not allowed to touch me. I'm going to touch him first. And we're not ruining him. We're not making him head shy or body shy. We're teaching him respect and safety. If I turn my back on this thing, I'm going to pet him for coming up. But I'm not going to pet him for getting any closer than this. I'm not going to pet him for coming up and chewing on my tools either. He wants to take a step back, that's fine. But he's not going to reach out and rub all over me. I ain't going to allow it. And I don't think anybody would want this horse to come up and just demand that you pet him. Now I'm gonna pet him with my flag here. Leave him alone. You don't have to let these horses come up into your space and demand a scratch. They need to earn it. How do they earn it? They earn it by treating you with respect. He's not afraid of this flag. Not afraid of it at all. Now I'm going to take a couple steps back, and he needs to stay over there. Not come up here and get me, not crowd through me and make me move because he wants to be on the other side of the pen. If I want to come over here and lean against this wall, I'm going to lean against this wall. And this is not teaching him to not bond with you or to be afraid of you. My feet, I'm not moving my feet. I am not chasing this horse. My space is just as valuable to me as his space is to him. And I don't just wallow up and get into his space either. I get his attention first. And we'll just stand here and coexist. Coexist is good. It's how we survive in this old world. The key is you cannot move your feet. If you're moving your feet, you're chasing him. Then you're not allowed to chase him. I'm gonna pet him. There, I can pet him anytime I want. Remember rule number 1? Rule number 1, and I only have 3 rules. Rule number 1, they're not allowed to touch me for the rest of their life, comma, but I can touch him anytime I want. And he's got that, and he's locked into it. And he doesn't need to act this way. He doesn't need to be mad because I wouldn't let him do what he was doing. But he doesn't have to be afraid of me either. I want to pet him. I can pet him anytime I want. Rule number 1, they're not allowed to touch me for the rest of their life, comma, but I can touch them anytime I want. And if I could show this little guy that he does not get to come up and demand a pet, then when he walks up to me, I'll touch him first, and I'll put a halter on his head, and we'll go to work. But if I'm over here doing something else, he ought not to come up, put his face or his mouth on me, and go to biting me, or get mad at me and wheel and kick. He's not allowed to do that either. But I can stand here, and if it's not my intention for him to come up, I can tell him to not touch me. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Just pet him. This is more of a philosophical video than anything else. But he gets mad a little bit if he comes up to get a scratch and you don't scratch him. Well, we could all see where that's headed. If he's bored, that's perfectly fine. But I'm not his toy to keep him from being bored. I can pet him anytime I want. He ain't afraid. But he is not going to touch me. I can't stress this enough. And he's not going to get mad at me and wheel and kick me because I'm not petting him. That's unacceptable. It's just part of these horses learning how to coexist. Coexistence is really, really important. It's a cornerstone of a good program. And if he doesn't want to stand over there and coexist with me, then we have to tell him no. That's our job. He's not crowding into me right now. We've kind of made our point. See him backing up. Cool. But I shouldn't have to worry about him coming up and rubbing or biting on me or getting mad at me and kicking me. I ought not to have to worry about that. If I want to pet him, I'll pet him. If I don't want to pet him, I don't have to. That's coexistence. He works for me. I don't work for him. And like I said, if he doesn't like being patient and standing over there, he could go somewhere else. But I'm not going to chase him because I'm not moving my feet. I'm not going to chase him away from me. I want him to come up here. But but he don't get to come up here and tell me, hey, it's time to pet me, you better. Since day one, he's been right on top of his lessons. And when you put a halter and a lead rope on him, he's been exemplary. But when you turn him loose, he's always been in your space, rubbing or pushing. And if you don't pet him, he gets really kicky and he'll wheel and kick at you. Well, if you weren't paying attention, there's no reason to let a horse do that. No reason at all. Just a few thoughts. See ya.